Earthquakes have a varied effect on people and their communities. By Zoe 6CPS. An earthquake is like love. Unpredictable, a little scary, but when the hard part is over, you realize how lucky you truly are. An earthquake or tremor is a violent movement of rocks and mantle in the Earth's crust. They are caused by a sudden release of energy. The causes of an earthquake are simple. When the plates move, the edges stick together. After the plates move a certain distance, the edges part, causing an earthquake to occur, due to the movement of the plates and the cracks formed in the boundaries. The earthquake I was researching was the Bam earthquake in Iran. It happened on 26 December 2003 at 5:26 a.m. Iran Standard Time. The Bam earthquake was a major one. In fact, it was one of Iran's biggest earthquakes. 26,271 people lost their lives and an additional 30,000 people were injured. The Iranian government considered moving to Tehran in fear of an earthquake hitting. 44 countries in total were sent for assistance in relief and 60 countries offered to assist. Most buildings in Bam were damaged and collapsed. As a result, the dust from the rubble and buildings could cause breathing problems and death. There were aftershocks as well, therefore parts of the buildings like bricks could fall off and possibly hit somebody on the head, which would cause serious injury. Also, the ground displacement across the fault could cause serious damage to a road if one was built there, sometimes ripping the structure apart. The effects on people were death, serious injuries, diseases that could spread throughout the town, like asthma, and even mental issues. For example, when someone loses their family member, it puts them through a lot of trauma and hurt. The effects on the environment is that it destroys the plants in the surrounding area, which minimizes oxygen. Also, it destroys the homes of livestock and animals. It causes landslides as well, which can affect water sources and sewage pipes. The Bam earthquake destroyed about 85% of the building stock in the city of Bam. In addition, all the buildings throughout the city were severely degraded. Also, a jewel held in Iran's cultural heritage, which had gone through significant repair and restoration for the past 2 decades, had been destroyed by the earthquake. The government confirmed it would take 24 to 36 months to restore the city, but from past experiences, it is said that it might take more than a decade to restore the city, losing more of the building stock. Homes could be destroyed, and that would take a lot of money and time to rebuild sustainably again. The death of people is also a problem, not only because many people have lost their lives, but sometimes their bodies are left out for too long, and that could spread diseases around the city which could cause more deaths. Loss of livestock and crops, causing people and more animals to die. Also, water pipes and sources could burst and be destroyed, which leads to more deaths of people and animals. It would be the cost of rebuilding the city, therefore damaging the local economy because business owners are forced to pay for the rebuilding or to shut down. Also, earthquakes can cause roads and dams to collapse, which costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time to rebuild. People can cope with earthquakes by talking to someone they trust, so they can put all their problems and issues out there. Going back to a daily routine and to get settled and get the stress of the earthquake out of their minds. Avoid drinking alcohol and drugs to keep the stress levels down and off their minds, or do some physical exercise because it gets rid of stress, anxiety, and depression. Rebuilding takes a lot of money and time to do, but after taking stress off their minds, it won't be as hard. Scientists predict when an earthquake is occurring by looking and studying the seismic waves across the Earth. The machines they use to measure those waves are called seismographs. Seismic waves tell the type, size, and frequency of an earthquake. When there is stressful activity below the Earth's surface, it sends seismic waves across the Earth, and that is when the seismographs pick up a signal showing how strong the waves are. To prepare for an earthquake, people need to fasten their shelves to walls securely, being careful to place heavy objects on the bottom. They need to store all breakable items in low-closed cupboards and cabinets. They can store all poisonous and flammable liquids in shelves of latch cabinets. Also, they might want to turn off the gas, electricity, and water sources. Lastly, an emergency or first aid kit needs to be near at all times. If the person is indoors, they need to stop and drop to the ground. Next, they need to take cover beneath something sturdy. a sturdy piece of furniture. For example, if it's a table, they could hold onto the legs to be safe. They could also take cover behind in-facing walls, away from windows or glass that may shatter or break. Staying inside is the safest thing to do if they were indoors in the first place. If the person is outdoors, however, they would need to find a clearer space. They then would need to move there, away from buildings, electrical wires, and street lights. After that, they would need to stay there until the shaking stops. The impact on the community varies. It may be positive, reason being people help each other during and after the earthquake to rebuild, bring aid, relief, and more. But there are also negative impacts. For example, losing half of the city to the earthquake. Earthquakes will always find the weak link in our communities.